Hello, South Africa. Welcome back to another episode of the Squatter Camp. Just straight to the point, Julius Malema has been found guilty of all 5 counts for the discharge of firearm in a public arena. This is what we have been preaching, South Africa. Let me be clear about this. I'm not celebrating someone's downfall, but I'm relieved because the application of the rule of law is applicable to all the citizens. This is what we have been fighting for, South Africa, that we need to remove this cancer before it spreads to the whole body. We cannot have politicians who are behaving like they are law unto themselves and continue to behave as if everything is fine, it's business as usual. I've mentioned this yesterday on a Twitter platform that these are very, very serious allegations. And if Julius Malema maybe stood chances of surviving this kind of a case, it was maybe going to be through technicalities. Because when you are listening to the magistrate, she says Julius Malema evaded many questions and saying that maybe it's a spirit, what, when he was actually having an opportunity to answer, as much as he always does, evading questions and answering whichever the way he feels like. So we are now removing cancer into our society. We are sending out the message across that the justice system is still very much active, and there should never be people who are behaving like they're above the law. That's one thing. Imagine if it was just a random civilian. We having good people. Let's not beat behind the bushes about this issue. So we having young people that we see on social media discharging firearms in funerals. Is this the culture that we want to actually adopt? Is this the kind of a president that South Africa needs? Obviously, and definitely no. It's a no. We can't have people who wants to be involved in drafting our laws, but at the same time, they themselves, they break our very own laws. I'm a very concerned citizen, and I've got a vision about my country, and this is what I've been fighting for, to say we cannot build our democracy based on who's rich, who's poor. Poor people are subjected to the raw application of the rule of law, and rich people are having a certain law. That no. If you can look at this whole thing holistically, South Africa is going through a cleansing period where all the garbage is now being thrown out of our country, to say this is what we want. We want to clean our country. We want our country to be fully functional, so that even people who are maybe potential investors or people who want to do business, even young people who are kind of intending to be criminal cartels or maybe participating in criminal activities, can see that the rule of law doesn't play. That, what happened today is a landmark judgment that as citizens of this country, we should really be proud. Not celebrating that, he's going to jail and what. So no, we should be proud that at least we can still trust our judicial system, because you can see other countries, especially in African countries, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, those countries have actually turned into a banana republic. There's no rule of law there. The law has got eyes who it prosecutes and who it doesn't prosecute, who is it victimizes and who it doesn't victimize. So in South Africa, the democracy that our grandfathers and our fathers died for, it should be preserved, so that even us, who are the young people of this country, can respect the very same rule of law. We cannot live in a country that is a joke, in a country where a politician who is holding a very high position, a member of parliament, discharging a firearm in a public arena where there's a lot of people. What I like about the judgment is that it took 3 days. If you can imagine, if the magistrate came just for 1 day and issued a verdict the EFF leaders and supporters and followers were going to attack the poor white woman. And they always pull a race card. Yeah, no, she's racist. She's not racist. You see, it was a true reflection of the rule of law that we should all adhere to. We should all be law-abiding citizens. And there's a whole lot of videos of young people doing exactly that. And I've been questioning myself, why are these people not arrested? They should be arrested. You don't do that with a firearm. According to the Firearm Control Act of 2000, firearm, you should respect it. You don't display it. You must be discreet. You must not just wave around your firearm, pointing to people or shooting a warning shot. By looking at that video itself, you can see that this is a real firearm. It's a rifle. So I don't know what exactly he was trying to say by saying it's a toy gun. People, we know toy guns. There's no toy gun that can release cartridges. I don't know. Maybe there are toy guns which have got because on Monday, when the staff members were cleaning the stadium, they picked up the cartridges. They handed over to the police. And the police processed that. They took those cartridges for ballistic. They took the firearm. So evidence here was gathered enough to take us to confidence. And believe me, if it was a toy gun, we wouldn't really be so concerned, but we will just call that into order that you are sending a wrong message to the people. You know, when kids are looking at you holding a toy gun doing that, they're going to take a real firearm and, and do exactly that. So it's a main concern. And what happened today is a landmark judgment that all of us, excluding the EFF loyal supporters, you know, those Julius Malema that he's feeding, he employed them, and he's bullying them, and he's misleading them, and he's even pushing them to influencing other people who are potential voters and followers that this is the way. That's not the way, South Africa. And I asked this question several times, that are we building or are we destroying? If we are building, if we are destroying, let it be clear. If we are building, we need to be able to say, even if it's our fellow black people, to say, no. What you're doing is wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. That was a very clear, judgment that for the very first time in my life, I used to go to court to sit all day and listen to proceedings. I can tell you now, the verdict were very easy to just, issued in courts. It never took 3 days for verdicts, to be issued. But here we saw a clear judgment that it's not questionable. Even someone who's sitting maybe in UK or wherever, or maybe even Donald Trump or the White House or wherever, watching, and magistrate was aware that this is an international case that is going to draw attention, because people are going. Remember, Donald Trump is targeting Julius Malema because of all these flops that he's doing by singing the Boer, the farmer song, and all of that. So this was a defining moment for South Africa to say we still have got a judicial system that we can trust as citizens of this country. I was watching the news last night. The former president of the DRC, Joseph Kabila, has been sentenced to death, recently. So these are the people that are at the most senior positions, and they have to be held accountable to say, our laws, we don't have laws of sending people for death penalty and all of that. So, but at the same time, the application of law should prevail. If you have to be sentenced maybe to 10 years, go to prison, whether you are an official. And we see with the Madlanga Commission that more politicians are going to be arrested, are going to be convicted. South Africa is going through a cleansing period where we are throwing out all the garbage, to remain with credible people that are going to run our country, that we can trust, and that are going to deliver to us. It's a landmark judgment. Thank you, squatters, for watching my content. We'll catch up. I'll see you next time. Sure.